G'day, I'm Simulated Erk, and welcome to Simulated Erk. This is Euro Truck Simulator 2, Episode 5. We're going to take you on a train. That's right, we've taken you on a train. We'll take you on a ferry as well to remind you what that's like, but we'll go on a train. So let's get into the episode. And we'll continue, and we'll talk a little bit about where we're going to and what we're going to do. We'll take you on a ferry ride first, and then we'll take you on a train ride. And I've also figured out some of the keys that I need to press for various things. So let's get a job. We'll take a quick job, and we'll go from Calais. Just having a look at a job that I can do that's relatively quick. Okay, let's go from Dover. Oops, Dover. Too far. Dover to Amsterdam, Dover to Dresden, Dover to Swansea. We'll go Calais. I don't want to go Calais to Cardiff because that's right up the top. And so is Birmingham. Don't want to go into Denmark. Oh, we haven't been to Cardiff yet, so let's do that. We're going to take some apples. Okay, so here's our truck. Lights on for safety. And I figured out that you can have a look on various cameras. You can go around, and so you don't have to go into camera mode. And you can toggle the mirrors and whatnot off and take a screen cap. Take a screen cap that way, that's a lot better. So we'll just turn our, whoops. Do we have a beacon? No, we don't. F2, there we go. So we'll get back in the cab. Okay, let's go for a drive. Now on this first occasion, we're going to follow the sat-nav directly and correctly, and we are going to take the ferry because there's two ways across from Calais over into the UK. So we're driving in France, so we need to be on the right. So there's two ways to go from Calais over to the UK. We can either take the ferry, which we're about to, or you can take the Eurotunnel, or the Channel Tunnel, or the Channel, where you drive your truck onto the train. You take your car onto the train, and the train takes you and the wagon separately over. So also what I've got from this episode on, I've got some extra content, some extra DLCs. So there's one for France, one for Scandinavia. So that's like Sweden, Norway, Sweden, Norway, Iceland, that sort of general area. And there's also an Eastern European DLC as well. And also I've got a heavy cargo DLC, a couple of different heavy cargo DLCs as well, so we might see some heavier and more spectacular loads as well. So in a previous episode we did the ferry across from Dover to Calais. I think it was Dover to Calais. And I think we also did one in another episode where we went from somewhere like Newcastle to Amsterdam on the ferry as well. So I'm going to show you the ferry first, and then I'm going to show you the train. Now the train I actually had to do a little bit of research on actually how to find it, which I'll share with you when we get to that point. Also, you'll see at the top of the screen, you'll see it where it says Simulated Erk Truck Simulators. So not only have we got Euro Truck Simulator 2, but we now also have American Truck Simulator. But I'm going to keep that on the same playlist on YouTube, so there'll be a Truck Simulators playlist on YouTube. So both will feature there. You know, they'll have their own numbering system, but all the truck simulators will be on the same one. And I sort of wish I had have done that possibly with the train simulators as well. So I have truck simulators on. Where did my vision mirror go? There it is. Have one for the truck simulators, have one for the train simulators, etc. But it is what it is. So on the truck simulators playlist on YouTube, you'll start to see American Truck Simulator and Euro Truck Simulator 2. They're both by the same publishers, so a lot of things are similar, except obviously one's in Europe and one's in America. So we're heading up from Calais, which I've been through on a Eurostar, and to Cardiff, where I have been. I just want to check something here. Oh yeah, we are going to Cardiff. I'm thinking, normally I'd be onto the ferry by now. but the starting point might have been a little bit actually out of Calais. So the thing about the GPS is that it will basically correct itself if you go the wrong way sometimes, although sometimes it doesn't necessarily work the way that it should. We'll just wait for this car that we can see in the distance. Oh, he's turning anyway. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, maybe it's their first episode or whatever, I'm not a professional truck driver and I've never driven a truck this size in real life, which is the reason why I simulate it. So we're basically at the ferry wharf, and by default, if you're going from France to England via Calais, it will send you to the ferry by default. Now here, the GPS will only take you to here, and then you'll have to see the little sign. Oops, shouldn't have done that. The sign there will actually tell you if you should go there because you're a truck or because you're a car or it's closed. So you know what, it's actually taken me directly to the train. Maybe because we're going to Cardiff, who knows. So I was going to take you on the ferry, but instead we're going on the train, and in a way it's a bit similar to the ferry where you have to drive yourself to the point where you see the little green icon. You don't necessarily have to line it up or anything, so you're perfectly on the train. And then you enter your travel destination. So we're actually in Folkestone, which is where the Eurotunnel starts. Actually, we're in Calais and we're going to Folkestone. 35 minutes, 300 euros. So let's select that and let's depart. Now, just like the ferry, you don't get to see yourself on the ferry, you don't get to see yourself on the train. So now we're over in England, so don't make the mistake that I did and think that you have to put in your destination because you're already there. So you just drive yourself off. You just drive yourself off the truck, off the train, drive yourself off the train and up the ramp, and we'll head to Cardiff. Now we'll try this when we finish this load, but when I tested this last night, what happened was that I was at Dover and I wanted to take myself to Folkestone, which is where we are now, and it automatically was directing me to the ferry, but I was looking on the map and I knew where I had to go. And then it redirected me once it realised where I was going. It redirected me, nobody coming. Now I have to remember, of course, that I'm in England, so I drive on the left-hand side of the road, even though it's like one way around here. Now the GPS doesn't recognise these internal roads, so it'll basically, it as it should, rely on you to get to the point where you're going into the port, or you have to get yourself out of the port, get yourself to the main road, and then the simulator will take over from there. And so I was trying to research how to actually get on the train, because one of the Steam achievements you can do is to use the train. And I couldn't figure out how to do it, and so I was trying to watch a couple of YouTube videos which basically says we can tell you how to get on the train. And yeah, it's a YouTube video, but the person doesn't actually talk. So yes, and there was one guy who was trying to show you how to do it a little bit how I am, I guess, when it was in the dark. But yeah, at least I'm talking to you and telling you how to do it. So now I have to remember that I'm in a left-hand drive truck too. What you have to do is have a look at the map, and I'll show you the map when we deliver. You look at the map and you have to work out, are you driving to the Channel Tunnel or are you driving to the ferry? Because the ferry is in Dover, whereas the Channel Tunnel starts on the English side in Folkestone. We've got plenty of fuel. So it's a bit hard to watch a YouTube video where no one's talking to you and you're just looking at the screen and it doesn't necessarily tell you anything how to get there. Whereas, and I know I do this a lot, if I want to have a look at a game, for instance, to possibly feature it here, and this is how I found Truck Simulator, I'd go to somebody's channel like Squirrel, who I can trust, and actually talks to people and that sort of thing, and talks through his processes and everything, and then you can figure out how to do things. Whereas, there's a couple of videos that I found that one was basically total darkness, and the other one no talking at all, and no text to go with it to even say, oh, you have to look for this icon and do this and do that. I actually found an article on a forum which basically told me about the train achievement. So we're about 6 hours game time up to Cardiff in Wales. This is an area of the map that I haven't explored yet. In the next episode we'll head up into the Eastern Europe area and also in the Scandinavia area. The little bit that I've driven really, that's almost as good as in a previous episode. I couldn't remember the word for the name bus, and so I called it a people truck. When I have driven around a part of the French map, it looks pretty sweet with the French DLC. So we'll do a little bit more French driving too. Although it for some reason doesn't like to seem to keep you on motorways. It likes to do a lot of backstreet driving for some reason. So I was having a look at American Truck Simulator, and that looks pretty sweet for America. at the moment you can only go in 3 states: California, Arizona and Nevada. Apparently there's a new map coming out soon for New Mexico, and in Euro Truck Simulator apparently there's a map coming out soon for Italy. But I know with getting the extra DLCs in the same pack, you can get France, you can get Eastern Europe, and you can also get Scandinavia. That opens up a lot of the map. So I haven't really gone into the earning your own truck and doing all that sort of stuff. I don't know if I really want to do that at this stage. I just want to drive around and explore the map and get better at the game, better at driving, that sort of thing. And checking off some of the Steam achievements is pretty cool as well. You can get a Steam achievement, for instance, for going into a service station, petrol station if you like, gas station if you like, one for getting the ferry, one for getting the train, and all sorts of different deliveries and whatnot. So I've done a little bit of driving in England, not a massive amount. In 2014 I did a bit of driving, or was it 2011? Yeah, no, it was 2011 I did a lot of the driving, from memory. Such a long time ago now, relatively speaking. Yeah, there's all sorts of different like paint jobs you can get for your trucks, and paint jobs and accessories and cab modifications and all this sort of stuff, but I'm not going to worry about all of that. All I just want to do is get in the truck, drive. I don't necessarily care about the making money bit, getting a truck, customizing and all that sort of stuff. I can drive enough trucks as it is, just going quick jobs. So I think I'll do that. I think I'll just keep on doing that. So we're about 4 hours away from Cardiff. Now, one thing that I want to try when I deliver this load will be delivering to Cardiff. And so what I've done in previous videos is try to get a load pretty close to Cardiff. So pretty close to where we've delivered, get another delivery to go somewhere else. But what I want to do, just for the sake of the video, is that I want to make this delivery in Cardiff and then see if I can go to Dover and make a delivery to Calais. Or will it say, oh no, you're in Cardiff, you've got to pick somewhere a little bit closer, or you're just running empty? So we just keep going. I think I've mentioned this before, I would love to see the sat nav actually talk to me. That'd be cool. Oh well, then we've seen our first sign for Cardiff. So we'll see which way the sat nav says to go, but we should get in the right lane to get in the Cardiff lane. Whoops. Get in your lane, dude. Hang on, we've got an exit coming up here by the looks of the sat nav. Yep. Oh no. We should have went up there, according to the sat nav. There's more than one way to... Oh, I didn't see the sign say to take an exit. I could have been busy talking. Just keep driving until we can see go to a services or something. See something definitive. Like the GPS is telling me to turn around, not that I can do that at the moment. And even if you miss an exit, there's usually another way you can go anyway. Speed cameras, we don't want that. Anyway, there's not as if there's anywhere that I can turn around at the minute anyway. Time is definitely going up. And we're starting to get a little bit sleepy. Instead of just checking the map in the middle of civilization, I will try and make it a little bit realistic and find somewhere to pull over so I can look at the map. that's the thing, you could be concentrating on the road or whatever, and you're not necessarily looking at the sat nav, but you can listen to it. We've got services coming up, so we will pull in. We need some fuel anyway. Alright. Alright, so we filled up, so we'll have a look at the map. Okay, let's have a look at the map. Have a look at the world map. Now we are here, which really doesn't help us. Okay, so we were in and around Southampton, so we should have went up there. So we should have went up, but that's... So yeah, we should have went up that way, but now that we're committed, we should just keep going. And yep, so we're generally in the right direction. That's alright. So we can still follow the sat nav. We are basically going in the right direction still, just a different way. We're not going to take a rest stop here, no. $162 miles to go. our miles is going down, so that's a good thing. Because I'm sure until I reset the map, that's what you can do. If you go past your point, you can also reset your map, and you can just go in another direction. And that's what I've done. So the K is going down, and the ETA is going down. There's usually not one absolute way that you have to go to get to a place when you're driving around. Yeah, in a truck you may be, I know here in Australia where I am, if you're a certain size truck, there's only certain roads that you can go on, and if you go on any different road, you can get fined. And it's, you know, big fines for going off the route, etc. Here in this game, obviously, that doesn't seem to matter as much. Come on. Ah, we're going back onto our highway. Sweet. Cardiff straight ahead. Sweet. We'll stay in this lane, I think. also have been reading that there's a lot of different mods that you can do. I think I've had enough of modding games after Grand Theft Auto, so I think I'll just keep it to any DLCs that I can buy. There was a good looking one, but I'm not going to do it. That has your sat nav basically looking like Google Maps. That would have been sweet, but sounds like a lot of stuffing around and it might not work anyway, so I'm not going to bother. We're about 2 hours away from Cardiff now. It's almost 4 o'clock in the morning. As I've said in another video, this must be summer because the sun's starting to come up. It's not like pitch black anymore, as you can see. Okay, where's his sign? Telling me Cardiff to the left. So we're going to be on the M4, which is quite ironic because the M4 is about 5 minutes from my house. Not this M4, the Sydney M4. It's nice how you can go from motorway to motorway like this. There's a few examples in Sydney where you can just go from motorway to motorway. It's pretty sweet. Like for instance, when I go and play ice hockey, for instance, I'm on 3 different motorways. So there's 5 minutes of, well, 5 to 10 minutes, just depending on the traffic, of traffic lights and that sort of stuff on a main road. And then when I get to the freeway or the motorway, I go on 3 different motorways, and then there's probably a 15-minute journey on highways, major roads after that. So while it's a bit more expensive with tolls and whatnot, it also depends on how much you value your time. There's a newly upgraded section of motorway which had just had tolls put back on it, and the amount of cars that are trying to avoid I think it's like $4.20, just depending on how far they drive, toll, and to avoid that toll they'll sit in the left hand lane of the motorway of I don't know how long, because I passed them, and then driving down the highway rather than the motorway just to save themselves $4. I get the point, I see why they're doing it, but also you do have to wonder how much you value your time. And if I'm on my way to the place of my employment, or if I'm on the way to somewhere where I want to be, I want to be sitting in traffic, and if I have to pay a toll for that journey to be a bit quicker, I will. Slow down. Oh, it's starting to rain. We'll put our wipers on. Now, of course, to suit your own circumstances, you can set your own keys for different things. For instance, put your headlights on as L, put your wipers on isn't W but P, but you can adjust all that in your settings to how you want it. So we're 43 minutes away from our destination now in Cardiff, so we've done well, despite initially going the wrong way. It's just on 5 AM. That rain really came out of nowhere. Apart from the noise and the visuals, it doesn't feel like I'm driving on a wet road. And apart, you can hear the rain, but you can't hear like the road noise and stuff. So it doesn't necessarily feel like you're driving on a wet, slippery road. Hang on, why did I stop all of a sudden? Come on. Straight ahead, 27 minutes. Oh no, it was 2014 I was driving around the UK, that's right, 2011, my first time I went around a lot by train, and then 2014 I decided to drive. That's right, I remember now. So we're 15 minutes away now, 8 miles. Cardiff. We're here. Please tell me I have discovered Cardiff. There we go, Cardiff discovered. We're just around the corner. Because I was pretty sure I hadn't been to Cardiff before in this game, and on. What's this? Oh, hang on, this is a Euro. This garage is available for sale. Okay. Uh-oh. Oops, that's not good. Oops. This is so not legit driving. And what I have learnt too, but I'll show you for the sake of the exercise, is that if you go down the wrong way on a street, you'll actually get a fine. Watch this. Is it gonna do it? No. Sure, you must have got away with that. So if you drive in the wrong direction on the wrong carriageway, you can actually get a fine. But it didn't. Didn't actually do it to me that time. It's going really well until that point. And I wasn't following the sat nav, I just saw, oh, green icon. Okay, I didn't have to drive in to discover that. I just discovered a truck dealership, that's good. Ah, there's my delivery point on the right. I've delivered 2 Euro goodies. So we'll turn our wipers off. We'll turn our indicator off because that's annoying. And let's get someone else to park it. Excellent. Almost 10 hours. And a long distance delivery bonus. So I am at a level 6, just started level 6 enthusiast. Sweet. Okay, let's use our skill points for long distance. Okay, now let's have a look at the map to show you what I was talking about earlier. So we'll ignore, that's where we are. So we'll go back. So we'll go back to Calais. Now you can see on the map that there's two lines. There's a line going to the right, and that's the ferry route. That dotted line's the ferry route. And it takes you, when I get there, it takes you to Dover, which is Meow. But if you go from Dover and then you go over okay. So even in Calais. So in Calais you can see the little ship anchor icon just to the left of the word Calais. That's where the ferry departs from, goes across to Dover. If you go below the word Calais to the tunnel icon, the tunnel icon, that's the way we went across the Eurotunnel, and we got out there and we drove on. So for the sake of the exercise, let's go to the job market. Now let's see if we can go from Dover Carlisle, Dover. Now it's Tuesday, so they're expecting that one on Thursday. So David to Dresden, Dusseldorf to Sweden to Cologne to Realms to Verona. So let's take this job. So we're going to be taking some basil from Dover to somewhere else. So it actually let us do that. It actually let us go from Cardiff over to Dover without basically taking a rest. So 24 tons of basil. We're going to Realms, to Euro Goodies, and they've got a window for us from 1920 Tuesday till 0200 Wednesday. But we're not going to do that now. not going to do that now. We're going to do that on the next episode. And then we're going to start heading north, heading towards Scandinavia and or Eastern Europe. Anyhow, I'm Simulated Erk. Don't forget, you can follow me on Twitter at SimulatedErk, at ErkPod, and SimulatedErk.com for all the games, previous episodes, other games, etc. And until next time, don't forget, keep your eyes on the road and your hands above the wheel. Oh, it's a weak horn. Good night, Interweb. Thanks for watching.